What's up? This is what some would call a deep dive into why I've never felt the touch of a woman. I'm not proud to admit it, but I love Pokemon. I fucking love it. I've always loved these games ever since I was like 7. FireRed and LeafGreen are my favorite games in the series, and I think they're almost perfect. There's just a couple of things they did in these games that are really annoying to me. Like, they added all these hand-holding features that I don't need. Like, I'm almost 30. I know how to play the game. And I really couldn't find a ROM hack online that made these quality of life changes I wanted without also changing the game a whole bunch. Like, I just want to play through the game I grew up with. I don't want a wildly different experience. So I made my own version of these games with a bunch of tweaks, and that's what I'm going to be going over right now. Kicking things off, you start the game with the running shoes. I think it's really annoying that you have to beat the first gym before you get the running shoes. Why not just start the game with them? I think that's way better. I also made it so you can run indoors. For some reason, these games, they don't let you run inside of Pokemon centers or anything else. So now you can run anywhere. Also, this is the only game they ever did this in. They added this previously on your quest feature every time you start the game. I think it's super annoying. I know what I did last time. I don't care. So I got rid of that. These games introduced an evolution block to stay true to the originals, and I don't like that at all. I think it's really annoying. Like, if I have a Golbat, I should be able to evolve it when it's ready, right? Like, these games will literally, if your Golbat's ready to evolve, it will literally stop evolving until you get the national dex. That's super dumb. So what I did is now you start the game with the national dex. There's no evolution block anymore. Another thing is Umbreon and Espeon exist in this game, but there's no way to get them because there's no day and night system. So to fix this, now you can evolve Eevee with the Sunstone and the Moonstone respectively. You can buy both of these at the Celadon department store, so just like any of the other evolution stones, you can pick it up right there. This is a quality of life thing I wanted. I made the Pokemon catch tutorial skippable. You're welcome. Also, at the beginning of the game, Professor Oak walks you through how to have a Pokemon battle. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you already know how to do that. So I removed that. It's just a normal battle, just like the original games. This is another thing that always drove me nuts as a kid. Anytime you use an item or an evolution stone or a TM, it plays this little movie you have to skip every time. This is the only game they did this in. I removed that, so you're not going to see that anymore. Also, when you lose a Pokemon battle, there's this whole tutorial about like,
hey, you suck at the game, here's how you should play, why don't you use potions?
And it takes like 30 seconds. It's annoying. I removed it. So now when you white out, it looks just like Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. This is a modern tweak I added. When a repel expires, instead of just expiring, it's going to ask if you want to use another one. That way you don't have to go all the way back into the bag every time you want to use another repel. In the original Red, Blue, and Yellow, you could just go catch Mewtwo as soon as you beat the Elite Four. But in these games, they added this whole side quest with Celio and this Ruby and Sapphire thing you have to do. You have to catch 60 Pokemon before you can go get it. I think that's dumb, so I left that in the game, but now, as soon as you beat the Elite Four, you can go into Cerulean Cave and catch Mewtwo, just like in the original games. Another thing that drove me nuts as a kid about these games is there's these events in the game's code that are super cool. Like, you can go to Naval Rock, you can catch Lugia and Ho-Oh. It's in the game. You just can't get the item that will actually take you to these islands. So what I did is I added an old man after you beat the game in Vermilion City who will give you these tickets, and you can just go catch those legendaries if you want to. Also, when I was a kid, I really wanted to catch Mew, and there's no way to do it in any of these games. There's no event for it. So what I did is I made it so you can go back to the SSN, surf to the truck, and I added it right there. I also felt like it was a little bit of a waste playing through these games as a kid, because when you get to the Sevi Islands, there's all these new areas in the game, but they just have the same Kanto Pokemon. So I took this opportunity to add in all the Johto Pokemon that were missing, and I spread them out around the islands. So you can pretty much get every single Johto Pokemon in the game at the Sevi Islands. I also added a stone to these games that evolves every single Pokemon that evolves in a trade. It's called the Trade Stone. It's at the Celadon department store. This will evolve Haunter, Machoke, Kadabra, Graveler, Seadra into Kingdra, Pretty much anything that requires a trade to evolve, you can just use the trade stone. Again, I didn't want to go too overboard with all these changes, but I did add a couple more things. In Cinnabar Island in the Pokemon lab, you can get the other fossil Pokemon that you didn't pick. And after you beat the game, on 6 Island, I added 2 guys that will give you the other starter Pokemon that you didn't choose at the beginning of the game. This is a really small thing, but I made it so you can use L and R triggers to switch pages in the box. I don't know if you know this, but in the original Red, Blue, and Yellow, in the game's code, there was a planned Professor Oak boss battle that they never wound up using. I made it so that if you catch all 150 Kanto Pokemon, if you talk to Professor Oak, he'll battle you as like a final boss. And if you beat him, he'll give you another Master Ball. This is kind of just for me, but on 5 Island, I added myself as a trainer battle with my dream team. And if you beat me, I'm not going to spoil it, but the reward is pretty sweet. I love these games, and with these improvements, I think these games are perfect. If you want to play through my changes, I've added an IPS patch in the description, so you can patch these changes into your own ROM and play through it. Also in the description, I'm going to put the locations of all the Johto Pokemon, in case that's something you're interested in. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully there are some dorks out there that will appreciate this as much as me. But I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you enjoy it as well.